Hello everyone, I am Kurze, this is Low Mana, and I'm writing this just as the video for the brand new Overwatch event has been leaked by PlayStation France. Along with last week's Uprising comic, we've got a great deal of insight into who our antagonists, Null Sector, are going to be, combined with a crapload more stuff, from the nature of the event through to skins, sprays and more. Let me run you through everything we know. So, from the get-go, we see the new version of King's Row that we'll be playing on for this event, that's running from tomorrow through to May the 1st. That's 3 whole weeks of event goodness, which should hopefully be plenty for everyone to get all their loot boxes and all their entertainment out of what is looking to be a fantastic event. And believe me, you'll want those loot boxes. You'll see why soon. This is a King's Row at war with itself. Null Sector controls the whole area. A quick nod to our friend Evil Shoot Me from our community Discord, who provided the translation for the voiceover. I'll read the translation out quickly. The name at the start is who's speaking. Jack, Morrison here. London was attacked. King's Row has fallen, we are on the edge of an open war. Anna, hundreds are dead and thousands have wounded. Jack again, it's your turn Overwatch. Reinhardt, Lieutenant Wilhelm reporting for duty, we won't let you down Commander. Mercy, we will save as many lives as possible. Reaper, possibly. Blackwatch agents are reporting important fortifications, Null Sector controls the entire area. Torbjorn, let the expert handle this, I have a little surprise for them. Jack again, Intervention team, we're counting on you, and watch out for the new recruit. Tracer, you can count on me, Chief. A quick bit of reverse speculation if you'll indulge me. Remember one of the last few PTR patches that changed the lighting on King's Row fairly substantially, that led to all those complaints? Well, Blizzard excused it at the time by saying that King's Row was one of the oldest maps, and that some aspects of the art and lighting were updated to bring it in line with the newer maps and make it easier to make updates and changes in the future. Well, this would be why. We've already seen on the control maps the ease at which they can adapt the lighting for the capture the flag modes, and King's Row clearly needed it to be able to support this event, and what an event it looks. The new screens in the underground, not present in the main version of the map, show the destruction. Buildings are being brought down, the city is on fire, the caption reads simply, King's Row under siege, Null Sector attacks, Omnics revolt. Clearly a follow on from everything we saw in Uprising last week. The graffiti has changed. In the modern day we have anti-Omnic posters, writings, flyers. Here it's the opposite. Walls are scrawled with no humans, Omnic Nation, and liberated by Null Sector, daubed in what we now know to be their signature purple colour. Some kind of purple symbol has been marked on various doorways. I believe this to be Null Sector's logo given it's also on Omnic torsos. And the huge turrets we saw McCree point out in the comic fire high into the London sky. Various pathways have caved in amongst all the carnage, though this is almost certainly for gameplay purposes as much as aesthetic. The purple tech of Null Sector is pretty widespread, so it's clear that in the 27 days they've been in control, they have done a pretty good job of turtling up against any infiltration. Presumably it's sufficient to deter any attack by the British military, but that doesn't explain why the UK government is so adamant in refusing Overwatch assistance. Given everything Overwatch seems to be going through, however, perhaps it's understandable, and maybe, just maybe, they're more Omnic tolerant than the Prime Minister is willing to forgive. Then we get our first look at the event itself, and the 4 characters and their lovely skins that we'll be using. Just like Junkenstein had us gearing up as Hanzo, 76, Anna and McCree, this time out we're getting Torb, Reinhardt, Tracer and Mercy, exactly as foreshadowed by the end of Uprising. They're all looking resplendent in their Overwatch uniforms, and I can't wait to get a close-up look. At first glance it looks almost like another Horde mode, with dozens of Null Sector Omnics rushing at the foursome. Largely consisting of small raptor-like robots, these smaller, presumably melee units, are supported by larger bipedal shield bots, holding up what look to be smaller, squarer versions of Reinhardt's barrier. There are also armed Omnics that look to be the same as the one McCree took out in the comic. These bear a striking similarity to Bastion, and it really wouldn't shock me if these were also made by SST Laboratories. Some of them come down in drop pods, which as an aside suggests that Null Sector have even achieved some form of air superiority over this part of London. That's no mean feat at all, and raises the question as to how Overwatch got their strike team in. I'm disinclined to believe the event is going to be something as straightforward as a Horde mode, however, for 4 reasons. Firstly, there's a voice line that Evil translated for us that says, I'm moving the payload. Pretty big clue. Secondly, Reinhardt, Torb and Mercy would make a Horde mode very simple. Think how easy Junkenstein would have been with that combo. Thirdly, this map mod appears to traverse a huge amount of King's Row, and it looks very much like they're escorting something through it. Maybe this thing is going bang at doors to what is now the underworld. And finally, remember the device that was being loaded onto the dropship in Uprising? Well, I do. So, a Horde-style escort mode, where the goal is to both stay alive and keep a device alive long enough for it to reach its final destination. The Horde has got to be big enough and mean enough to have the potential to overwhelm a Rein Torb combo, so Tracer should be kept busy, and Mercy is going to have to pick her targets, and probably even get her pistol out. I can't wait. Along with the event itself, we got some hotly anticipated cosmetic goodies, on top of the 4 we've already seen, all coming from blue Overwatch themed loot boxes. First up is this very fetching Blackwatch McCree, complete with a more youthful look. He is only 30 here, and both his arms. Interestingly, I can't see any Blackwatch logo on his gear. Maybe Reyes sent him fully undercover. Guess we'll find out soon. There's also the amazing Blackwatch Genji, complete with heavy scars on the little of his torso we can see, and a whole heap of wires attached to his back. This is either an unfinished Genji, or merely what he looks like out of full body armour. For his sake, I almost hope it's the latter. And we have the much heralded, hotly anticipated Widowmaker skin. I only have the French name here, La Griffe, which rather than being an homage to the guy that manages the Play Overwatch Twitter feed, directly translates to the Claw. I don't believe this has any direct lore connection, it's certainly not a pre-Widow Amelie like some of us are expecting, but it's definitely awesome. For the most part, the theme of this event in cosmetic terms seems to be centred on the past of the characters, whether that be 7 years ago to match the timeline of the event, or in some cases even earlier. Earlier would seem to be the case in this other Torbjorn skin. My theory is that this is during his time in the Ironclad Guild, so quite a while before the Crisis. This would be from the time where he was building the weapons that he would then spend the rest of his life hunting down. Great jawline though. There's also a Null Sector Bastion, which could potentially hint at Bastion units forming part of the Null Sector forces we'll be fighting against, or could just be it looks damn cool. The final skin on show here plays into this theory, and is hidden kind of at the end of the vid. It's Orisa, in Null Sector colours. Due to how this is shot, I'm guessing an Orisa style Omnic will act as one of the bosses to the event, but damn if it doesn't look great. I really want to see it in full. Beyond that, we also have a few victory poses, from Zarya flexing to Winston snacking on peanut butter, and then we get the sprays. I'll flick through these briefly and focus on just a couple that pique my interest. First up, I believe this is a young Pharah, practicing her aim. She has no eye tattoo as yet, as she gets that after Anna vanishes. There's a badass looking Reyes, looking kind of shifty. It's like Palpatine in Star Wars. How does nobody twig that this guy's up to something? Then there's Combat Mercy and Blackwatch McCree, they both just fit this event. Bastion gets a spray to match his last comic binary. Sombra gets a hacked Sombresso coffee machine. Diva is busy practicing her skills at a very young age. Roadhog and Junkrat have 2 matching sprays that echo their Moment in Crime video from the King's Row. Winston is playing, almost certainly on the Horizon base. Symmetra is studying hard, and by this time she's already in Vishkar's care. Tracer echoes her origins as a pilot, completing her Slipstream skin, and similarly we have Zarya in her Russian military colours. Genji and Hanzo also have matching sprays, dragons on their tunics, and noodles being inhaled at great speed. No clue what May's up to, but she's got a Summer Games sweatshirt on. Lucio's helping kids, I guess in Rio, to learn hockey, and Zenyatta has kind of gone to pieces somewhat. There's also a generic Orisa spray, but more importantly are these last 3. First up, we finally have a shot of Gerard Lacroix, late husband and victim of his wife Amelie, better known as Widowmaker. No clue how long they were married for before Talon twisted her, but they both look happy here. Her story's a sad one for sure. Next up is Reinhardt, and the poster that Pharah had on her wall when she was growing up. Reading, "The Crusaders stand guard," you can see why he remembers that poster. His hair was indeed amazing, even if his beard is notable by its absence. Finally, there's Torbjorn's. Don't quote me on this, but I believe this is Brigitte, better known as Reinhardt's squire. We've seen them together before at Christmas in Reflections, but I kind of went along the lines that she would have been Reinhardt's +1. Now, I'm not so sure. If it is indeed Brigitte, how does she know Torbjorn? And is that how she ended up with Rein? If not, who is this? It isn't his wife. I don't believe it lines up with anyone else we've seen thus far. All theories in the comments below, please. Thanks for joining me as I've delved into as much depth as I can on tomorrow's event. I am really looking forward to this. This is the first fully lore-based event we've had, and I already want more. What are you hoping to see? What skins do you really want more than any other? Let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell if you want notifications of future video releases. Until next time, I have been Kurze, thanks for watching.